This is Brother Jamal coming to you live here on our Wednesday morning broadcast. Truth is the wealth of freedom. We communicate, educate, and organize. Truth is the wealth of freedom. We communicate, educate, and organize. Truth is the wealth of freedom. We communicate, educate, and organize. Truth is the wealth of freedom. We communicate, educate, and organize. Truth is the wealth of freedom. We communicate, educate, and organize. As we just said, this is our morning edition of where we speak the truth. Not only we speak the truth, we tell the truth, and this is coming from the last man standing. And this is our Wednesday morning edition. If you have any comments, you can drop them in the bottom section of the page. Question why I'm on the broadcast here, feel free to ask. And if you just want to come on and listen, that's fine too. So we know there's been a lot going on, so we'll try to hit up on three things this morning. We'll continue to talk about the murder of Mr. Nolan Wells. We continue to talk about the fact that we're at war, and we're just leaving it those two topics. And we'll go into some other things and explore some other things, but we just, that conversation, Mr. Wells' murder, it will open up so many other areas and so many things to go into. I tell you what I find real interesting. In the case of Mr. Nolan Wells, what I find interesting in his murder case, because that's what it is. And the state of Mississippi is at the center of attraction. And see, what people need to understand about Mississippi. I know a lot of y'all probably weren't even born, so you don't know anything about 1950. You don't know anything about Fannie Lou Hamer. Now, you might know from watching videos and watching clips and reading or whatever, but I'm talking about the actual fact of what I remember happened about Mississippi, what always has been a dirty stain over Mississippi. When they murdered the three civil rights workers, this is 1963, 1964, who was in Mississippi, civil rights workers, one Jewish kid, white kid, and a black kid. They murdered them and buried them, murdered and then buried them. And it took them quite some time to find their bodies. I mean, quite some time. You hear me? And all these three young men was going into Mississippi, trying to help with arresting people to vote and doing the civil rights work at that particular time. And they end up getting murdered by those devils, by those rednecks in Mississippi. So Mississippi has always been that way. And like I said, for lots of you now who are trying to cover the dirt up of Mississippi, well, you should have started this a long time ago, because there's been devils and snakes in Mississippi forever. I'll take you back to 1950. They had a snake, they had a devil there by the name of Lester Maddox, white supremacist, Klan member, you name it. And see, one of the things that is always hovered these places, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Georgia, the Carolinas, South and North. One of the hubs that's always been in those places. And let's be clear, you always had the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Every one of those southern states. And this goes back to when Mr. Nick Cannon gave out the incorrect information, speaking up on something he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And the facts and what he threw out was not true. But see, people take that and run with it because he's supposed to be a celebrity. Celebrities need to stay in the lane of celebrities. Stay out of the politics. Sports announcers, they stay in the lane of sports announcers. Don't try to jump all over the place and think because you may be good in one area that all of a sudden you can just jump in the political ring and you can be good, or you can make some incorrect statements. I'll state this once again. 1920, in Pulaski, Tennessee, a Confederate general by the name of Albert Pike, who is the founder of the Knights of the KKK, Albert Pike, Pulaski, Tennessee. He was a Confederate general. And there's a movie called The Birth of a Nation. Go check it out. You see all you want to see in that movie. See, tell you everything. And people need to stop getting on social media, running their trap, saying incorrect stuff. The Prophet ﷺ said that there will come a time when the right will be made look like it's wrong and the wrong like it's right. That's precisely what it is right now. Now, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings on him, he prophesied this 1,400 years ago. Not the end of the world, not when the world was going to come to an end. How close we were to the day of judgment. Once again, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there will come a time when the right will be made to look like it's wrong, the wrong like it's right. Precisely what we see happening in this particular hour that we're living in. So once again, getting back to the dirty, filthy Mississippi. See, Mississippi, along with so many other southern states, they have a history of cover-ups when it comes to the murder of black people. They always have been. Fact, see. And so I hear people getting excited about the FBI being involved. Well, hell, the FBI they ain't got no good track record when it comes to black people. If you think somehow the FBI is going to come in and going to do anything any different what the local authorities are doing there in Mississippi, they ain't gonna do no better. See, ain't gonna do no better. And it's been proven, fact, that the FBI has did all kind of crap over the years as it relates to black people. The FBI, yes, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they have did all kind of crap when it comes to any kind of cases of black people. They always, most times, the history has been when somebody has been murdered by these pigs and they call in the FBI. What do? They go through their little investigation, and guess what they do? They conclude and they go right along with the findings of whatever the local authorities have said. They usually confer with them. I'm talking about your great FBI, y'all. The ones that y'all think that they're going to do something any different. They ain't going to do nothing no different. And they going to concur with the local authorities in Mississippi. Watch and see, y'all. Don't have no faith in the FBI. And we shouldn't get suckered in to get all excited. Think that they're going to do something. And they come in because they're not going to do nothing. See? They ain't going to do nothing but cover up and confer with the local authorities. That's all they're going to do. See? So, and then I see too, I see some of these snakes, these black snakes that are being used and punked out by the devils in Mississippi, like this black coach, Mr. Wells' high school coach. They go back. Now, they could have got the head coach, was a white coach. They could have got him. They go back and get some black snake to come on and try to verify when he was at the school, at Mr. Wells' school, he never saw any racism. He never saw, that kind of thing. That's to try to smooth things out. You know what I'm saying? They always can find one black snake to come, bring him to the forefront and say, okay, boy, this is what we want you to do. This is what you got to say. Why didn't they get the white head coach, not no assistant or not some coach from the high school Mr. Wells went? Why didn't they get the white head coach? Let him speak up on Mr. Wells. See, they get this black snake and bring him, and they probably already done told him what to say and what to do, what not to say, what to say. Like this young man that was on TMZ, supposed to be a friend of Mr. Wells. See, you see how they always able to bring these rats, bring these snakes, and it's the Negro ones. Cause see, what they try to do is when they bring them to the camera, this is to try to put the seal on the coffin to say, okay, look, since you don't believe the white devils, since you don't believe them, we'll bring some of your own people. See, and they always think that they can soothe us with the snakes that look just like us. Let me tell you something. In these small southern towns, one of the things that they do, especially if it's all white town, you got a few black people stay there. So, and especially the southern towns is much different because all of the whites know the blacks and know where they stay. They probably done went to school with them. They grew up with them. They played with them, you know. Might have even went to church and stuff and, you know, socializing. So they figure they can get, like this coach they went and got at Mr. Wells' high school, not the head coach, which was a white guy. They went and got this snake, this black snake, and let him talk and let him smooth it out like there was no problems, there was no race problems. They always go to that, see. That's what they want the black snake to say. And then this young boy who came on TMZ, same thing. Supposed to have been a friend. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to tell y'all and believe this, y'all, and you can take it to the bank. They are stalling and trying to do as much as they can to defame and character assassinate Mr. Wells. Because he was a good kid, see. He came from a good mother and father. They don't like that, y'all. Plus, guess what? He was getting ready to assume his workout because he was going to be a star quarterback. You know them white boys didn't like that. You know they didn't like that, see. And the young man, from what I could tell, he was a pretty good, he was, I won't say pretty good, he was a good quarterback, and he was going to be a star quarterback, and he was in pretty good shape, see? He was in pretty good shape. So, they didn't like that, and them devils in Mississippi, the judge and all of them, they are a bunch of no good redneck devils, you hear me? That's what they all are. And if you got some Negro snakes in there with them, put them all in the same cage. See, because the Negro snakes, just as they worse actually than the white devils are. They worse. See, because they figure they can always smooth things over by bringing a plantation Negro colored in there and let him tell his story. And we supposed to just buy it, sink, and that's supposed to be the found nail on the coffin. That's what they think. But see, let me tell you something. Devils in Mississippi and snakes, black snakes in Mississippi, ain't nobody letting this one go. See, we in this and we own this to the end. See, we're going to carry this all the way to the end. One way or the other, we're going to carry it. Ain't nobody letting up on this one. And I say to the people around the country, social media, wherever you be at, keep the pressure up on them rednecks, them devils in Mississippi. See, keep the pressure on them. Keep your boot on their neck. See? Keep your boot on their neck in Mississippi and around the country. See? Don't let up. We bring the pressure and we bring so much pressure. We bring so much heat in the kitchen until where these devils can't stand it. You hear me? To the snakes, the black snakes who's in with these devils, bring the pressure on them too. See, I'm gonna say it once again. The names and the pictures and the addresses need to be put on social media. All these devils who was involved in the murder of Mr. Nolan Wells, they need to be put on social media. Names, pictures, and addresses. None of these devils should be able to escape the punishment that's coming to them. See, because everybody knows they murdered Mr. Wells. Everybody knows they murdered him. They know it. See, these devils know it. These white devils in Mississippi know it. And all they're trying to do now is stall for time and to cover their tracks. That's all it is. That's all this is. That sheriff in Mississippi, he's the biggest devil and hypocrite of all. See? Because he know they murdered that boy. He know they murdered Mr. Wells. See? All them rednecks, all them devils in Mississippi, they know that they murdered Mr. Wells. They all know it. Everybody knows it. See? So, and then you see some of these, let me tell you what else I see with some of these Negro snakes, colored snakes, bootlicking plantation snakes. They trying to talk about Ben Crump and talk about Al Sharpton real bad. You know what? Why don't y'all talk about the rednecks in Mississippi the same way y'all talk about Ben Crump, the same way y'all talk about Al Sharpton and try to defame their character? Why don't y'all talk about them redneck devils in Mississippi that murdered Mr. Wells? I bet you most of you couldn't even open your mouth to speak against them. See, but you can bash Ben Crump, you can bash Al Sharpton, all you snakes, and I'm talking about the plantation Negro colored snakes that talk about Ben Crump, that talk about Al Sharpton. See, I ain't heard you jigaboos and you coons say one word about the people that murdered Mr. Wells. Why you don't talk that bad about them? See, it's easy to talk about Ben Crump. It's easy to talk about Al Sharpton. But you know what? Y'all ain't got the guts and the courage to say nothing about them rednecks who murdered Mr. Wells. You wouldn't dare think about saying something. And you know why you wouldn't? First of all, because those are your masters. See? And they white folks. That's why you ain't gonna say nothing about them. And guess what? Whatever little show that you got on social media, guess what? Your subscribers, your viewership, and your followers would drop to the bottom of the chart. And I know for most of y'all, you can't stand the pain of losing your popularity. So you can't talk about them. You can't talk about calling them out. See, Mississippi is a state of the devil. Has been. Ever since that redneck named Lester Maddox. This goes all the way back to the 1940s and 50s. They had a devil in Mississippi called Lester Maddox. He wasn't nothing but the devil from hell. That's what he was. Lester Maddox. They had some more devils in Alabama. George Wallace, Bull Connor, Jim Clark. All of them devils from hell. That's what all of them was. See? And they had another devil. This devil stayed in office. I think he got up in his 90s. Strom Thurmond was in South Carolina. Nothing but a straight up devil. That's what he was. All of them. And look, the other states, each state in the South had some white supremacist elements / the devil. Each state has them. See? Each state has them. So if you go through all of the southern states, there's at least 1, 2, 3, at least 3 devils in those states. And those were the head ones that they collaborated with all of the authorities in that state. And if you take Dr. King said straight out that Mississippi and Alabama was two of the hardest places to crack the wall of Jim Crow. Why he said that? Because those two states, and still is today, is rooted so deeply in the work of the devil. See? And I seen some jigaboo black minister on talking real bad about Al Sharpton. I don't know what state he's from. I don't know if from one of the southern states. Older black jigaboo talking about Al Sharpton real bad. And I said to myself, you got your nerve. You got a lot of nerve to get up and talk about Reverend Al Sharpton. And I said to myself, I bet that black jigaboo preacher, whoever he was, whatever church he's from, I said, I bet you wouldn't have the nerve, you wouldn't have the guts to stand in that pulpit and talk about them devils that murdered Nolan Wells. I bet you wouldn't talk about them the way that I see these jigaboos and these spooks and these snakes talking about Reverend Sharpton. See, talking about Ben Crump, talking about Reverend Jesse Jackson. Most of them wouldn't have the guts, you hear me? Wouldn't have the guts and the nerve to talk about them devils in Mississippi who murdered Mr. Wells. Talk about the devils who murdered, the devil that murdered Medgar Evers. I bet you wouldn't have the nerve to talk about him. Talk about the devils that murdered Emmett Till. See? Because it's easy to talk about Reverend Al Sharpton. It's easy to talk about him. Easy to talk about Reverend Jesse Jackson. Easy to talk about Ben Crump. Because that's all you can do. You would never say anything against your slave master and his workers. The devil and his workers. You wouldn't speak out against him, but you would speak out against Reverend Sharpton. See? You speak out against Reverend Jackson. And it just amazes me how silly you guys sound, especially the bootlickers, the coons, the jigaboos, the spooks. See? Y'all sound like a bunch of, I don't want to say fools because that ain't even a word. You sound like somebody who is there to protect. No, I give you one better than that. El-Haj Malik El-Shabazz, Brother Malcolm, said that they're nothing more than a clown and a puppet show. That's what y'all sound like. You sound like you're broadcasting, you're running a clown and puppet show. That's what you sound like. Yeah, that's just what you sound like. Once again, we have said, and we continue to claim it, these people have declared war on black people in this country. I don't know what else to tell you. And some of our people keep asking like they surprised and they shocked. Why are you surprised and shocked? These people been doing this. See, Mississippi ain't just not started doing this, y'all. Mississippi they brutalized and I mean seriously brutalized Fannie Lou Hamer when she was in Mississippi. See? So this ain't just not started. They have murdered countless black people over the years. Mississippi has. Alabama, Texas, the Carolinas. Countless black people. See, what should happen, what needs to happen, the state of Mississippi should be brought before the world court. They should take them devils before the world court at the United Nations, just like they always talking about bringing some of these countries and whatever. They should bring Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, before the world court in New York for a violation of human rights on black people in the state of Mississippi. That's what should happen. See, this calls for a world court. See, a petition, not even a petition, but an announcement to bring the state of Mississippi before the world court at the United Nations and expose them for their crimes against black people. When we talk about the Atlantic slave trade and all the people that was involved in that, what about the human rights violation of black people in the state of Mississippi and all of the devils that's been involved in that. Every one of them should be brought to trial and brought before the world court in the United Nations and exposed to the world. See, expose them to the world. This is what Brother Malcolm was talking about. The human rights violation of black people in Mississippi. They have exceeded violations, y'all. Exceeded violations. You hear me? So you talk about crimes against humanity. Hell, what Mississippi has did, they have violated crimes against black people for centuries. See? And so they need to be exposed for the evil, wicked devils they are in the state of Mississippi. Yes, they need to be exposed. And so bringing them before the world court, it would be a just cause, because there is no denying that Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, has violated the human rights of black people. Yes, they have. See? And so even when they call a boycott on the SEC, call a boycott on the southern states, well, look, these are the devils who have did that. And then you got, you know what's amazing to me? You got some of these simple-minded plantation Negroes that will take up for this kind of behavior, make excuses for it. See? But that just shows you how deranged and sick that some of these plantation Negroes' colors are in their minds. It's a mind thing, y'all. Forget about the revolution. You wouldn't even think about trying to have no revolution with these plantation Negroes and colors the way their minds are. You wouldn't think about it, because guess what? The people who would derail the revolution would be these plantation Negroes and colors. They would be the ones that would derail the revolution. Would be them. See? And if you planning on doing something like that, see what we used to do. Let me tell you one of the strategies we used to use back in the day. Like the Panther Party, I know they did it, and some of the other groups and organizations that I was involved with. Excuse me. We would have a public meeting where the public would be invited. And then we knew that the agents and the informers was going to come out to a public meeting because they wanted to. Their main reason for coming, they wanted to get a hold to. Last time we'd have a sign-in sheet, maybe like people would leave us their names and contact numbers and stuff like that and addresses. So we knew that the agents and the informers was going to be at those meetings, and we would go through and stage a kind of a run. But then when we got ready to have the serious meeting, we would have a serious core group of people that we call together, and that would be the real meeting. That big meeting, that public meeting, would be just a stage that we would stage to see how the agents and the informers were going to come. And we knew they were there. Sometimes we knew exactly who they were, and we would just put out certain things so they could take it in and take it back to the people that they were working with. But when we got ready to have a serious meeting about strategizing, we would have a core group of people. It would only be maybe 7 to 10 people, and that was the core. Nobody knew about the meeting but us. We didn't let nobody know nothing. So that's how we would run it. Let me also say to my brothers and sisters out there, whatever you may be feeling and how frustrated and upset you may be, please don't be getting on social media, running your mouth about what you are going to do, what you would like to do, what should be done. Don't do that. See, just hold up on that. See, I understand people are upset, and see, these people are doing this because they're counting on us to do that and behave and act that way, so they can, as many of us, they can get out the way by having us to go that route and do that kind of stuff. Then it eliminates the factor of them not having to, they got this one out the way, they got that one out the way. I'm talking about brothers and sisters, because I see a lot of sisters on too. All I'm saying is, do not get on social media running your mouth about certain things need to be done, and we should do this and we should don't do that. If you heard me say about these perverts in New York City who are messing with women and girls and stuff at the train station, bus stops, whatever. Now, there's a brother on Instagram who usually puts the pictures out of these perverts, and he puts the location out where they be operating. Say if they're around 125th Street or they are in the Bronx or Brooklyn or certain stations, he puts that out. And all we're saying is that those men should be run out of town. See, they should not be terrorizing a community or a location where ladies, women, girls, ride the bus, train station, train stops. They shouldn't be. And oftentimes these guys get arrested. They don't do no time, and sometimes they just let them back out. And they come right back in the community and think they can continue to terrorize the community. I'm saying to the men in those areas in New York City, y'all need to run them out of town. That's what y'all need to run them out to the ocean, the sea, whatever. But they should not be able to terrorize a community where girls and women and seniors and whatever cannot catch the bus, cannot sit at the bus stop and be worried about somebody robbing them, somebody sticking them up, somebody raping one of them young girls or following one of them girls or, touching them or whatever. None of that. See, them perverts. And when the brother puts their pictures up on Instagram, y'all need to run them out of town, y'all. That's all that's left. Ain't no talking when it comes to that. Y'all need to run them straight up out of town. They should not be allowed to terrorize New York City. And I know there's enough of brothers, there's enough of men there. Not stand around and watch stuff. I ain't talking about that, because you got sometimes these men are standing around and watch stuff and want to video it. What kind of sense does that make? You see a woman or a girl or something getting terrorized, you gonna stand around and watch it? You gonna stand around and video it? That's I don't know how you can call yourself no man and be doing that kind of stuff. I don't know how you can. I mean, I guess you can, but then it's like what kind of man would stand around and watch a woman or a sister or a girl or something be violated? Come on. You got to, brothers got to step up and do better than that. So I'm saying, when this brother on Instagram shows a picture of these perverts and shows the area where they be operating in New York, y'all need to be on it and run them out of town. They need to be run out of town, every single one of them. See, run them out of town. It ought to be some men, wherever this brother calls out these perverts are. Once he shows that picture, once he gives you the location, and I hear him all the time on Instagram giving the locations of where these perverts be at. And he said they kind of be in this area, and he was saying the people, he be calling out for the brothers and the men in that area. Don't be standing for that. That could be your daughter, that could be your sister, that could be your mom, your grandmother, your aunt. See? And it shouldn't be like that. So those perverts don't care what nationality, they don't care about none, what color they are. They need to be run out of town. In the ocean, in the river, in the lake, somewhere they need to be run out of town. See? They shouldn't be allowed to do that. So here's the deal, y'all. The situation that we see, that we are faced with, this is why we say we're at war. I don't know how much clearer this can be made to you, that we are at war. This devil in the White House has given the green light for people to do whatever they want to do to black people. See, I'm going to say to the black men once again, whatever city you are in, these white patriots and nationalist group, they should not be allowed to march through the black community, nowhere near the black community. What for what? What would be the reason why they should not be allowed to march near the black community or through the black community. That should be a no-no, y'all. And I'm saying to black men, that should be a code. Not through the community, nowhere near the community. Now, if they want to march them down the doggone streets, let them go ahead. At the same time, if black people are out and you see these groups of white nationalists or white patriot marching, you should avoid that. Ain't being scared, but you should avoid that. Get away from them, not be caught up in no nothing they doing. See, that's all I'm saying. And we need to be on high alert to stay safe, to stay alive and stay together. I got this quote from the Black Panther movement on their page. So that's not my quote. That's something I had saw them that they had put out. And whatever city that you are in, if there's a Black Panther movement going on, go and get yourself involved in some of these organizations, some of these groups that's moving, that's organizing, that's mobilizing. See, a lot of these plantation Negroes and colors and the ones that be on social media running their mouth, tell you the truth, y'all, to be straight up and honest about it, most of these podcasts who you see on social media running their mouth, that's all they do. I'm talking about the ones I'm not talking about Rhoda Martin, I'm not talking about Joy Reid, I'm not talking about Willie D. Live, I'm not talking about those brothers and sisters, because they're pushing the mark on going against the devils. See, I'm talking about these ones who be on social media. They don't say nothing and talk about nothing, and they don't declare that there's a war on black people. They, if anything, they talk about these celebrities, the social life. They talk about men and women, black women. They kind of social stuff. That's what they stay in. See, they don't talk about the hardcore stuff what we talking about now. They don't talk about that. They stay away from that. See, and you have to understand the way that these plantation Negroes and colors that's got these real popular podcasts, that's how they stay on, because what they do is they stay at a certain level of talking about social issues, safe issues, but they don't have nothing to worry about. So once again, we communicate the educated and organized truth is a wealth of freedom. We communicate the educated and organized truth is a wealth of freedom. We communicate the educated and organized truth is a wealth of freedom. You've been listening to the morning edition from The Last Man Standing. Inshallah, we'll be back this evening to bring you the evening edition from The Last Man Standing. And where we speak the truth, now we speak the truth, we tell the truth once again.